Coach Joe Brady joining us to answer questions you all have for him. Joe, can you hear us on your end?
Good to go.
All right, perfect. Let's go to Josh Graham for the first question.
Coach, thank you for the time. Obviously, you would hope to have Christian back, and you love the 3 wide receiver sets we've seen quite a bit. But when you have Christian and Mike Davis potentially on the same field together, how many more personnel groupings does that open up for you, say this weekend or whenever Christian returns?
Look, I think whenever you just have everybody available, there's a lot of possibilities. You can, you got two guys that can catch the ball to the backfield and run the ball. Gives you matchups that you got to kind of look into and see if you want to take advantage of that. But yeah, everything's on the table this week for sure.
All right, let's go to Joe Person and then Phil Orban.
Hey, Joe, what does Seth the Valve give you guys potentially if you activate him? And do you see him being a part of the offense at some point?
Yeah, we signed Seth for a reason in free agency, and Seth's an extremely smart football player that can make plays in the pass game and brings an element of toughness in the run game. And so coming back from injury, he had surgery in the off season, so got to see where he is with just getting back into it and getting back into football shape. And but he has the experience, and we'll kind of go from there.
Hey, Joe, did being forced to adapt these last 6 weeks without Christian help you at all as a coach and play caller? And if so, how?
I don't know if Christian being there or not being there really, I think it's just, we say every week, how you doing? I think every week, as in this, in a new system, with a new offense, with new players, you're just learning your players every week, and you're getting more of an identity of the type of offense that you're going to be and finding out what your players do well. And so I think whether Christian was there or not, I think that was something that we were going to be learning as we go. And, just being able to bring him back in the mix, just getting a better feel of, how the rest of the guys, our offense are, and kind of, our identity with that. I'm excited to have him back in play.
All right, let's go to Josh Klein and then David Newton.
Hey, Joe, how are you? I wanted to ask you about tempo, and if you've been happy with the tempo over the past few weeks, specifically on Thursday night, and then I have one quick follow-up after that.
I think I said it early in the season. You'll never be happy with your tempo. I felt the same way. Last year in college, if you're just going no huddle, you want it to be faster. I think there's an element. And I think when people think tempo, they always think just getting on the ball and snapping as fast as possible. To me, there's different versions of tempo. There's just getting on the ball and seeing kind of what's happening, and kind of being, just under control, but having a sense of urgency. There's the tempo of just getting up and just calling the play no matter what, and just running. And there's the tempo element of we have to go, we have to get going, but we need to see what they're kind of doing before we kind of make our calls. And so I'm never going to be pleased with our tempo. I think that's just the natural, and just give our guys a sense of urgency. But I don't mean that in a negative way. I think it's a game-to-game thing, whether we feel like it's to our advantage to go fast, whether we think it's our advantage to get at the line and see kind of what the defense has given us. I think it's a week-to-week thing. Obviously, when you lose, it's a natural inclination to say, hey, it has something to do with tempo. But, I think it's a week-to-week thing.
And then you said, obviously, week-to-week thing. When you're playing a team like the Chiefs that have such an explosive offense, I realize that obviously you're on the offensive side of the ball, but is there a tendency or kind of a want to stay on the field a little bit longer and maybe milk that play clock a little bit longer?
No, I think every single week you're looking into, how can you take control of the football game, and you got to find a way to win. There's a way to win every football game. And, I think we have to control what we can control as an offense. And at the end of the day, we have to score touchdowns. And whether you score a touchdown on one play, whether you score a touchdown with 10 plays, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing on each drive. And so I don't think that's something that we're looking to. We're not sitting there saying, hey, we got to stay on the field. I got full confidence in our defense. And when we do have the opportunities to be on the football field, we got to just capitalize and score on points.
Hey, Joe, 2 quick ones. First, how's Christian looked?
He's Christian McCaffrey. Exactly. He's Christian McCaffrey. Okay. I think that kind of answers exactly what you guys expect out of Christian is Christian. He's we're excited to have him, hopeful to be able to get him to play this week.
And the other thing, Matt was talking yesterday about how Teddy likes to go out and run the scout or the look team for you guys. Uh, how surprised were you when that first happening, and how unusual is that? And what's that say about Teddy?
Well, I mean, it's just shows that, hey, when nobody's role is too big here. I mean, there's no such thing as a scout team. It's a look team, and you're trying to help your defense out. And if Teddy has an opportunity to go in there, it's another rep that he gets against our starting defense, and to try to give them the best look possible. And it gives him it just shows from the top down that it's not a scout team, it's a look team. We're all being evaluated, and we all have an opportunity to compete. And being the starting quarterback or not, this play is important, and I want you guys to see that I'm out there doing it. So it doesn't surprise me. It's kind of just who he is.
Let's go to Miles Simmons, followed by Jason Huber.
Hey, Joe, playing clean this week, how big of an emphasis is that, just based on the way the Chiefs have been able to force turnovers throughout the course of the season?
I think that's the number one thing in every game. When you look at ball security is the most important statistic in football, in my opinion. It has a huge, when you look at the wins and losses, a lot of it has to do with protecting the football. And that's our number one job as an offense. Is when you look at the season, times that we're not protecting the football, a lot of it has to do, we're losing football games. And so I think playing clean, but executing, just doing our job, and not looking at the scoreboard, not having a sense of urgency, just playing our style of football, playing our brand of football, and letting the rest take care of itself.
Hey, Joe, hope you're doing well. I know you don't have to game plan for him, but I'm just kind of wondering, working with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, what he brings to why you think he's had so much success so quickly after you've had the chance to work with him last year, and how much of a challenge he'll be for the defense, even though you won't be planning for him.
I wish I could answer that question for you. I haven't had an opportunity to really see him, what he's been able to do with them with this year. And, so it's hard for me to kind of speak on that. I'm sure Coach Snow would definitely have that answer. But Clyde's a great football player, and, he's only going to continue to get better in this league. And, he'll be a challenge for our defense in a good way. I'm sure our defense is always looking forward to it. He's a great football player, and, we'll see you on Sunday.
Let's go to Elena Getzenberg and then Joe Person.
Hey, Joe, I was wondering, the last 3 games, the offense has had the ball towards the end of the game, a chance for a game-winning, game-tying type drive, and it hasn't worked out. Is that something that you guys, any changes you're looking to make there? I know that's something you practice, that 2-minute offense, but what has stood out to you in, those just not working out?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the execution. There's in crucial times, guys, we have to make plays. We have to execute, and we can't play hero ball. We just got to take what the defense gives us and continue to do what we've been doing, throughout the game. And so I think that's the biggest thing that we're just harping with our guys, is just the mindset of finishing. But at the end of the games, we don't have to do anything different. You don't have to sit there and say, hey, this moment is bigger, so we have to perform bigger. We got to just trust the process, continue doing what you're doing, and take what the defense gives us, and good things will happen. But yeah, we have to finish these, and we have to just execute at a higher level.
Hey, Joe, could you expand a little bit more on, like you said, he's Christian McCaffrey, just how he's looked and your level of confidence in that ankle?
Look, I don't ever look too much into how guys are, whether there's injuries. If a guy's out on the football field, I have full anticipation that they're going to be 100%. I don't ask guys how they're feeling, it's, if they're out on the football field, they're ready to go. And so I fully anticipate when the time comes, hopefully he plays, that, he'll be able to be exactly what we want him to be. And when it's time to play, I expect Christian McCaffrey to just be Christian McCaffrey and nothing more than that.
And then real quick, I know you had PJ Walker active the last few weeks, kind of as an emergency role, but you had him out on the field last Thursday. Is that something you kind of like, as just sort of another wrinkle and another weapon?
Yeah, I think you're every week you're just continuing to find ways to get guys on the field, to move guys around. PJ and Will are just competing every single week for the 2 quarterback job, and and there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And so, PJ being up the last few weeks, we felt like there's opportunities to be able to get him on the football field, and we're just trying to take advantage of that.
Guys, we have time for a couple more, so let's go to Phil Orban and then Josh Klein.
Hey, Joe, what was the communication like with Christian while he was out? Was he able to communicate things to you that maybe he saw from a different level, not being on the field, kind of getting a bigger picture look at things?
I mean, the relationship with Christian, I think it's the same all the time. Just talking through things, just seeing how everything's going with him. But yeah, I mean, you see a guy who it's easy when he sees it from the outside, but was just so excited for Mike Davis and seeing what Mike Davis and the running backs were able to do, and he's just ready to get back. He just all he cared about is just being able to get back with his teammates and try to continue to help us get an opportunity to win. And so, he was motivated, and I'm excited to just have him back on the practice field.
Joe, on Thursday night, DJ Moore, I think, got the first target of the game, and then he didn't get the ball again until the final drive. Was that something that Atlanta's defense was doing? Was there something scheme-wise that you saw that maybe Robbie or Curtis was a better option? And is that something that you hope to correct, or just get DJ more involved on Sunday?
Yeah, I think every game I think ends up playing out differently, and you can always, ideal world, you want to get this guy this many touches, this guy this many touches. And I think sometimes you call plays that might be designed for a certain player, and whether the defense or one way or another it goes to somebody else. I don't always get caught up into targets necessarily, and sometimes I think it's a product of just taking what the defense can give us. But yeah, anytime the ball's in DJ's hands, good things happen, as evident. You see he's averaging 18 yards a catch, and so you'd love to get him as involved as possible. And that's definitely something you look at after a game. You wish you got the ball in his hands a little more, but I don't think that's something that we're coming away saying, man, we're doing something wrong with that standpoint. We're fortunate to have a good amount of weapons on the offense, and as long as we're getting the ball in those guys' hands, I think good things happen.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it. Joe, we appreciate you stopping by.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.